mes chéris, in today's video I'm going to be following this 1940s makeup guide from Glamour Days. I have done a 1930s one and a 1950s one, but I've not tried the 1940s one, so let's give it a go today. Let's start by delving a little bit into how this book describes the beauty and makeup of the era. It says, to quote Max Factor, "Color dramatizes beauty. It is the life, the appeal, the allure of feminine charm. Whatever type you may be, there is a particular color harmony makeup that enhances the beauty of your own natural color. What color type are you?" Use of the correct shade of makeup base, cheek rouge, lip rouge, eyeshadow, and powder is absolutely essential if your finished makeup is to enhance your looks. The aim is to utilize color so that it will emphasize good points and minimize bad ones, while preserving the appearance of natural color in a state of radiant health. Well, who doesn't want that? Any departure from this basic principle will tend to emphasize the makeup rather than the personality and give your face a painted, artificial look. Oh, gosh, they'd hate the makeup of today. They'd even hate pin-up makeup, let's face it. The only thing the color of your eye controls is your eyeshadow, and there are only two proper and true shades of eyeshadow. Blue-gray for blue, gray, or green eyes, and brown eyeshadow for hazel, brown, or black eyes. So I guess I'm going with brown eyeshadow. It doesn't really state what color lipstick I should be using. It does say that the manufacturers generally recommend what colors go with which complexions and hair colors. I'm gonna stick with a blue-red, which tends to be recommended for brunettes. It's kind of a tried and true concept of which color red goes with which hair types. And other than that, I'm gonna take the advice of the guide. There are very definite instructions for what to do for the eyebrows. I will put them on the screen as I'm doing them. So step one is to brush the eyebrow clean. Now I'm pretty sure my eyebrows are clean, but I shall brush through them anyway. I'm being very kind to my eyebrows. Brush the brow clean again and directly down. And then it says to apply the eyebrow pencil along the upper line of the brow. Okay, so we have that, looking very interesting at the moment. Then it says to brush the eyebrow up to fine stroke pencil lines. Then it says to brush the surplus hairs down to meet that pencil line. I've definitely never done my brows like this before. I have quite fine brow hairs, so to me, like, it's really obvious to me that I have just like a line at the top of my eyebrows, but that's what it says to do, so I'm gonna go with it. Now I'm gonna go in with eyeshadow, and for eyeshadow it says, eyeshadow should be used sparingly and only on the upper lid, never under the eye. It should be blended from the edge of the lid right up to the brow, and we know that it should be brown, so I'll be applying it with my finger, as would have been done by most ladies of the era, and it should be sparingly applied, so I'm not going to use too much. It should go all the way up to the brow. The shade that I'm using is very pigmented, so I just needed to dip my finger once. I think that's done a perfectly good job. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that on camera. It is rather pale, but it has just given me a shadowing around my eyes. For mascara, it says use either black or brown mascara, preferably brown, which is the most becoming color, especially for daytime wear. I only have black mascara, but I also do have black lashes and very dark brown hair, so I don't think that that's too out there for me. It says to prevent under eye shadows, apply it only to the upper lids. I wish I had a cake mascara to demonstrate to you guys, like the Besame one, but I do not, so I'll just be using my normal mascara. It did describe how I should try and apply it, but I'm a bit baffled as to what they mean, because it says that I have to try to keep my eye closed, but to lift my lid up. So I guess sort of like this, but then I can't see what I'm doing. So that's what the book says. I'm gonna apply my mascara the way I would normally apply it, so that it doesn't end up all over my face. The instructions say, using a little mascara at a time, apply with light, easy upward strokes of the brush so that the smooth, even coating is formed. The lashes curve upward and you take on a young, wide-eyed and wondering look. Apply mascara thickly, and instead of looking young and innocent, you'll look worldly and sophisticated, which you may or may not desire. I think I'm gonna leave it there for the mascara. I've only put it on the top lashes as they have specified. Rouge placement is very specific as well and is by face type. Now I have quite a long face, so I think I'm gonna be the oblong shape in this book. And it does say for me that I should be placing the rouge very central, not too far back, not too close to my nose, very central, and then blending it up towards the corners of my eyes, which is not how I would usually apply my blush, so that will be quite interesting. I'm going to be going in with Daphne Beauty's blush with her lovely blush brush. I do often use this blush here, which I love, but it's very purple and I've been specifically told not to do that. For the oblong type, don't use rouge the full length of your face. Don't bring your rouge too close to your nose or too far out from the sides of your face. And while I think of it, this applies to everybody. Don't use rouge with purplish tints. Do apply your rouge in a carefully blended circle in the center of your cheeks, then blend it up carefully under the outside corner of your eye. Use the lightest tone of rouge possible for your particular complexion. Interesting. I'm not sure that that's a great technique for me, given that I have naturally quite a heavy line under my eye. I've always had this. It's like it goes right along my bone around my eye. So doing that sort of really accentuates that bagginess that I've always had under my eye. So I would definitely not usually do this as my rouge, but that's what they recommend. I'm inclined to think too that the lifting of the rouge up towards my eyes like this actually makes my face look longer. Like I would think that it would be better to do it more like that. But again, following what they say. And given that this is 40s makeup, we are already up to the lipstick. This is very basic and very easy everyday makeup, which is I think probably why a lot of vintage ladies lean towards 40s styles for everyday wear, because it is a very wearable style and it is very quick to do. I am going to be using my favorite Daphne lipstick, which is Vintage Baddie. I have lipstick missing. I wonder where that is. It's probably floating around in a handbag somewhere. I will be using Vintage Baddie. So the book states that you should do your upper lip first, and for the oblong face that I can come out a little bit wider to give me a perpetual smile, and that it is always a good idea to use a lip brush, and I could not agree more. This is a lipstick that becomes a permanent formula, so blotting is not required, but I will be following the drawing on instructions. Always make up the upper lip first, then gently but firmly close the mouth, rolling the upper lip over the lower, thus imprinting correct outline on the lower lip. Whenever I do that, it gives me a completely wonky bottom lip, so as much as I like the instructions that they're providing, it has never ever worked for me. Never allow the lips to appear painted, irregular, or poorly defined. I definitely agree with that. Never moisten the lips before application of rouge. I can see why they're saying this with the formula of old makeup, but I definitely moisturize mine before because it's sort of the opposite these days with very matte formulas. So I've overdrawn the outside of the upper lip now. I'm gonna do that on both sides and then meet it on the bottom. Hopefully I don't look too silly at the end. Okay, and that is the final overall look. The powdering and everything happened first. It was foundation cream and then powder and then the elements that I have just done. So what do we think of the 1940s makeup, guys? I quite like it. It is very simple. It is definitely how I started doing my makeup right at the beginning of my vintage journey. I've moved more into a 50s style now and a little bit more 50s mixed with modern. But for an everyday makeup, I think this is really lovely, very achievable and very quick, which I really like. Do you wear your makeup in this style? Would you wear your makeup in this style? I would love to hear in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this makeup guide, you can grab your own. It is not sponsored or anything. I just love Glamour Days' channel and blog and these makeup guides are just a great insight into how women used to do their makeup. So I will link the guides down below. Do go and check them out and go and give Glamour Days some love on their channel. As always, feel free to like, comment, and share the video with someone you think might find it interesting. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. A whole bunch of you who watch my channel are not subscribed, so it would help me a whole lot if you would click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when my videos come out. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye.